Welcome to UNCAGED, the show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Today, we're speaking with Chris Brunetti. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on the show, Chris. Chris is with Lumen Technologies. Lumen does a lot of incredible work in the tech space, certainly with edge computing and some of these emerging areas like AI. But I'll let Chris elaborate more on what Lumen is doing. But before we get there, Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career.
First, a little bit about me personally. Been married to my wife for going on 17 years now, and I'm originally from the Northeast. I moved to Texas here about 25 years ago. I've personally got about 30 years of experience in the IT services space and kind of worked my way up. I've worked in both field service as a technician, literally going ticket to ticket every day, up through various engineering roles and into finally made a decision to move into the dark side of sales. And then once I was in sales, I moved my way through manager roles, senior director roles, and now.
Well, the thing is, though, with someone, when you do that, you really know what you're selling, right? So I actually find the best salespeople are people that have worked in the other areas previously.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Definitely, my technical background and my hands-on experience definitely gives me the ability to earn credibility with the customers and really be a trusted advisor to them because I've been there. I've done a lot of the stuff they're trying to accomplish.
So, Chris, you are the Vice President and General Manager of Texas, Oklahoma on the sales side for Lumen. Tell me a little bit about what you're working on right now.
I really have two things that excite me about what we're working on. One of them is, the ability to obviously as a sales leader drive my sales team to be successful and mentor those folks into being successful salespeople and doing the things that they want to do in their careers and their personal lives. And then I think the other exciting thing that's I wouldn't rank these in any order, but certainly the ability for us as Lumen and as sellers of Lumen services to help our customers really achieve their technology and transformation goals.
That's amazing. And you guys have a bit of a process on how you think about this stuff.
Yeah, really, when you look at Lumen, the marketing folks like to talk about the Lumen platform, and the Lumen platform really is a layered approach where you have the underlying technology of the global fiber optic network, and then you stack on top of that various services such as management, application layer services, things like that, and then of course the very top layer. Um, Fits in with collaboration and security services.
So, a lot of the things that I know that you guys are working on are really underpinning this, I'd say, brave new world that we live in and are moving into. Tell me a little bit about how Lumen fits into the tech landscape right now.
Yeah, so the generic challenge that we help our customers address is really we refer to as the three A's, right? And that is essentially when you think about data in general, customers are struggling to acquire that data, analyze it, and then turn it into something that they can actually act on.
Hmm.
And Lumen is helps in that perspective through that Lumen platform that I previously mentioned. If you think about what's going on in the industry right now, I think estimates are right now that there's going to be something like 30.9 billion devices in the next 3 years, putting out data over the internet. That's an unspeakable amount of data out there, and it's
Yeah.
not easy for enterprise businesses to um, move that stuff around, to store it, and then, like I said, as far as organize it in a way that they can use it for something. And so where Lumen comes into play, I'll just give you examples. Just to take a very, home-based example, you think about your Ring cameras or your Nest thermostats and things like that. Well, those things are constantly churning out data, and so Lumen, that's the acquisition stage. Lumen helps out with that global fiber optic network. We grab that data from those devices. We're able to transport it across that network, and we're able to bring it into Lumen data centers or Lumen cloud services and store that stuff for the customers. So having that massive fiber optic, internet backbone through the history of Lumen with the telecom providers that it's
Hmm.
acquired over the years is huge, and that gives us a strong advantage over your traditional cloud and hosting providers because they have to go elsewhere for that transport function. So acquiring that data and transporting it is key, and that can be, in the home example I gave, that could be something as small as a broadband internet connection in your home, or for
Right.
an enterprise business nowadays we're getting into 400 and 800 gigabit connection speeds that customers are needing just because of the massive volumes of data.
Yeah.
So the next
Yeah,
step.
anything to avoid latency latency is appreciated for, I think we have no idea how spoiled we have become. I was talking to one of my good old friends who was probably the first person that I ever went on to the internet with, when we still had those early browsers like Mosaic and
Yes.
Gopher and all these crazy things. And the download speeds of a page back then was hours, if you
Yeah.
remember, right? And now we get upset if a TikTok doesn't load within the first millisecond, so it's quite amazing.
So you're absolutely right, and that's where the next step comes in with the Lumen's edge compute platform, right? So if you imagine this massive fiber optic network, now stick some very high powered compute out there, right? So just lots and lots of servers, lots and lots of horsepower, and that horsepower is spread out regionally across the globe, right? So you think about, I guess the terminology that's probably best used to describe it is you think about best venue for your application. So
Mm,
if you're if you're a large chain coffee shop, for example, right, and someone's ordering a latte, they don't want to watch that application spin while they're trying to order their latte, right? So that coffee shop might host that application in the Lumen Edge Compute platform, where we will put that closest to the end user to avoid those latencies, to avoid that long transport between the user's phone and destination of the data. So that's really where Lumen steps into play, and that's where the power of that edge compute platform tied into that global network really comes into play.
absolutely. So, the last couple of years, Chris, have been unique time for all of us, but be curious how you and Lumen have approached the challenge. I see that you've done some work with the platform that we are on right now. So, and probably made my life livable, it seems. But tell me about the challenges and the opportunities that have appeared.
Yeah, so COVID's been very interesting for us in our industry and with our customers in the sense that it's been a multi-part effect, I'd say. And when COVID first hit, I think first reaction from most of our enterprise customers was, we need more bandwidth. We need larger pipes. We have all these people working from home. We have all these people doing, virtual education, virtual meetings, virtual enterprise, virtual sales. So it was about, quickly expanding on that transport of that fiber optic network connectivity. It's kind of shifted since then because COVID's also forced a lot of businesses to really, act on those digital transformation efforts that they have
Yeah.
maybe were planning to do over the next 3 to 5 years. COVID's definitely accelerated that to much quicker. So now we're very involved with our customers around security and working remote, work remote anywhere, and things like that edge compute platform. Now that I have as a customer, okay, now that I've got the pipes and the bandwidth in place, okay, how can I restructure my applications to better suit an environment where all of my employees are working remotely or spread out across the country or the globe? So a lot of that, a lot of the work that we're doing now is kind of going back and looking at it from an application layer, looking at the compute horsepower, and also helping customers out with general consultative skills as far as looking at their environments and are they hosting their applications in the right venue for the type of need for that application. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on. It clearly is a trend that Lumen is seeing, and you're able to participate in, which is now that everyone's realized that we're not going to really slip back into an old way of doing things, but we're really framing out the plans for this next generation I think you guys talk about a lot about the fourth industrial revolution and how Lumen plays a key role in that area. But so we're really preparing for that, and I'm imagining 2022 looks like it's going to be filled with that type of activity. But as you look forward, how do you imagine this year shaping out?
From a sales leader perspective, I'll address that because it's very interesting, right? We certainly, as a company, were at some point looking to move people back into the offices on our side, and then as we all know, COVID seems to take a turn every time we start moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
So, we have to learn how to do things differently, and I think it's the same shift that our customers are having, right? So my sales teams, for example, are having to be able. We have to learn how to sell virtually. We have to use social media to reach our customers versus knocking on their door. We have there's a lot of discussion in the sales world as to whether the actual phone call or the cold call is it dead or is it alive, right? So it's a matter of changing how we do things. I don't think that we're ever going to be in a model where we get back to 100% in the office. That's my personal view on how I would run things in my region for Lumen.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a hybrid environment, and I personally would love to see my team be able to come in for team meetings, to have a little bit of that social interaction, to be able to learn from each other. But the reality is, we've all proved that work from home is a reality and it can be done.
Yeah, that I think was my learning, which was it was in some ways much more human. We've tried to develop a model that will allow people to meet on a regular basis and come to the office if they want to be in an office, but certainly not force it just to do it. It's amusing for me to watch really a lot of the New York city-based companies struggle with that as they really want to kind of drive people back into the real
It's a
estate
hard,
they've
yeah,
invested a lot of money on, I imagine.
a hard mentality to break sometimes for folks to have just to admit that we can do this outside of the office. So
Absolutely. Well, Chris, it's been amazing to talk to you about Lumen. If someone wants to find you, where can they get in touch?
yeah, I mean, you can obviously just reach out to me, first name dot last name at lumen.com, or my LinkedIn profile. Any way they want to reach out to me, I'm open to it, and I can either connect them with the appropriate person within Lumen, or if it's something that's within my region, I'll be happy to assist. So.
Well, it's been great talking to you today, Chris. We've been speaking with Christopher Brunetti. He is the Vice President and General Manager of Texas and Oklahoma on the sales side for Lumen. Lumen is really a company that is building out, I'd say, this next generation of technology and really the underpinning of the technology that's driving our new hybrid world and our hybrid lives that we're living. Thank you so much for taking us through everything today, Chris. We look forward to having you back.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers.